Hello everybody, Adam Clery from FourFourTwo here, and it is now time for our seemingly weekly segment on which Premier League club may be facing a points deduction for violating financial fair play rules. Hooray! Let's see who it is this time. Wheel of expenditure, turn, turn, turn. Show us the club who will not learn. And it's... Wait, what? Nottingham Forest? Oh, right, yeah, because of all the spending. Yep, that'll be why. Okay, so first things first, I know how YouTube works. It wants me to string you along for as long as possible, but if you are a Nottingham Forest fan, I will just open by saying nothing has happened. As it stands right now, me recording this, nothing has happened. But, and this is why we're doing the video, Premier League clubs all had to submit their accounts before New Year's Day so they could work out whether anybody had messed up and punished them this season. And the one name that keeps coming up as potentially having overspent quite considerably is Nottingham Forest. Now, this is all in relation to the Premier League's PSR. Now, if you were sitting there going, hang on, how does this relate to FFP? What's the difference between PSR and FFP? Then, quite handily, I've got it here for you, okay? You want to just a quick zoom in? You want to look at that? Yeah, it's nothing. It's nothing. There's no difference whatsoever. It's the same thing. They just rebadged it. Anyway, though, as we have covered 100 times on this channel already, PSR, FFP, whatever you want to call it, relates to how much a football club can spend over the amount of money they make. So, for example, if your club makes a gajillion squillion pounds every season through, like, merchandising, sponsorship, competition money, what have you, then you are allowed to spend a gajillion squillion plus maybe one or two extra squillions every single season. If, for example, and I'm not thinking of any club in particular here, your club does not currently make a gajillion squillion pounds, but happens to have been taken over by a nation state with aspirations of conquering the division, then you're not allowed. You're not allowed to do that. You can only spend what you make plus a little bit more. So how does this relate to Nottingham Forest? Well, as you may be aware, they are a club with ambition. And it's this ambition that led to Nottingham Forest owner Evangelos Marinakis getting one lungful of that sea salty Premier League air in his nostrils and going, how can I put this? Fucking mad. So, specifically, what might have happened here? Well, first off, discount this season. We're not talking about this season at all. We're talking about the last 3 seasons. So for Nottingham Forest, that is 2 in the Championship and 1 in the Premier League. The profit and sustainability rules between the 2 divisions are obviously different because Premier League clubs make a lot more money than Championship clubs, so they're adjusted accordingly. In the Championship, you are allowed to spend 39 million over any 3-year period above what your club makes. So you're allowed, and this is an oversimplification, to lose £13 million a season on average. Obviously, you can lose more one year and less the other. As long as it comes out at 39 million over 3 years, you're fine. For Premier League clubs, that is 105 million over a 3-year average. So about 35 million pounds per season. Again, you can overspend 1 year, recoup it back the next, but so long as it averages out at 35 million over 3 years, you're fine. So for Forest, and I'll just do the maths for you here, that is 2 seasons with a £13 million loss and 1 season with a £35 million loss. That is a total, come on kids, anybody, £61 million, I think. Yeah, it's 61. £61 million. I don't know if you can tell by the fact I work on YouTube for a living, but I wasn't particularly academic at school, let's say. So, those are the rules for Nottingham Forest, but why are those a problem? Well, football finance expert, author of The Price of Football, and someone we just absolutely love on this channel, Kieran Maguire, put on his Twitter yesterday that he had a quick scan over the Forest accounts and they may have a bit of an issue. He estimates that in Forest's last 2 years in the Championship, they recorded a £14.8 million loss in 2020-2021 and a £13.9 million loss in 21-22. Now, those are both slightly over the threshold, but not so much that it would probably be a problem. You just write something off here or rework something there. You definitely get away with that, I think. The issue is in the accounts they've just filed for their first year in the Premier League. Basically, they've given themselves virtually no wiggle room for their first year back in the Premier League, and if they've gone over that £35 million threshold, then they're almost certainly going to be found to have been in violation of these rules, and thus sanctioned. And as anybody who has not been in a cave on Mars with their eyes shut and their fingers in their ears going, la 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 la, no football for me, please will know, when you violate these rules, like Everton did, you get a sanction. So, did they overspend last season? Well, obviously, there's loads of ways you can spend your money in football, but the real thing this relates to is player transfers. So, let's just have a really quick look at Nottingham Forest spending last season, which I'm sure is fine. So they got Morgan Gibbs-White, that was a good one. There's that centre forward who's really good. Danilo, Nico Williams, Emmanuel Dennis, Mangala. There's that centre back I'd really like. I'm not sure I've even heard of him. Lewis O'Brien, Frulala, whoever that is. Omar Richards. Oh, John Joe Shelby. That's where he went. Lodi and Chris Wood on loan. Huang, Bolly, Toffolo, Felipe, Bowler, Aguilera. Anyway, I'll just get the calculator out here really quickly and I'll tot up all those transfer fees. I'm sure it'll be well below 35 million. It'll be absolutely fine. And but it's okay, let's not panic. There were still outgoings. We can deduct all the players they sold from that total. I'm sure that'll bring it down under 35 million. There was Samba, Lolly, DaCosta, Graben, Jenkinson. They got loads of players off their books, and that came to a combined total of... oh, God. Now, admittedly, that does look really bad, but that's the end of the sentence. And what's worse, if you can imagine it being worse, is those were just the players where money changed hands for. They also brought in loads of free transfers as well. Jesse Lingard, Gustavo Scarpa, Czech Kouyaté, Andre Ayew, Wayne Hennessy, they all came in on a free, so while the transfer money's not relevant here, you got to factor in their wages. Last season, it was estimated that Forest had a wage bill somewhere in the region of about 66 to 70 million pounds, which puts them like right smack bang in the middle of the Premier League. I think it's like 11th or 12th. Or something like that, which for a side who've just come up is insane. Just for context, this season, the sides that have just come up, Luton, Burnley and Sheffield United, have by some distance the smallest wage bills in the league. They pay somewhere between like 25 and 30 million. So am I saying that Nottingham Forest have definitely massively overspent on the profit and sustainability rules and will almost certainly get punished for it? No, I'm not saying that, but I am thinking it extremely loudly. So what happens now? Well, at the time of me recording this, January the 4th, my birthday tomorrow, just completely incidentally, nothing is going to happen for about 10 days. But on January the 14th, the Premier League will announce whether any clubs are under investigation. At that point, any clubs who are in the spotlight will have 2 weeks to give some kind of defense, and investigation will ensue, and they want to have it all wrapped up by the 8th of April. Why the 8th of April, Adam, I hear you ask? And that's a great question. It's because the potential legal implications of the Premier League having a club under investigation who then stay in the Premier League at the expense of another team are massive. So they need to get it all done and dusted before the end of the season. Case in point, all the clubs that are now trying to sue Everton. And you don't even have to ask your second question, because I find myself thinking about it all the time. Why does this happen so quickly to clubs like Everton and Nottingham Forest, but we still don't know what's going on with the Chelsea and the Man City investigations? And the answer is complexity. Everton were given one charge: did you overspend during this period? And they went, yes, we did do that, we're really sorry, and that was it. Manchester City, for example, were given 115 charges and said, did you do this, and they said, no, we didn't, none of it, and you can't prove it. Conducting an investigation into the first one takes like 5 minutes. That was bad of you, you shouldn't have done that, here's the punishment. Whereas conducting an investigation into the second one takes a lot of time and a lot of money. And just want to end on a final football point. If you are still watching, Nottingham Forest fans, this could be really bad for you, I think, because if you got the same 10-point deduction as Everton got, then you would drop from here in the table to here in the table. Now, I would argue in the 2 Forest games I've seen since they changed their manager, they look to be on an upward trajectory, look a much better team, but a 10-point deduction is obviously still really bad. And worst of all, do you see all of these other clubs that are going to be in the mire with them? Nottingham Forest have played all 5 of these teams at home already. Their record is 2 wins, 2 draws, and a defeat, which isn't terrible, but it shows that they're clearly not miles ahead of the rest of those sides, and they've got to go away to every single one of them in the second half of the season. That could potentially be really, really difficult. But anyway, never mind all that. I've been on the internet before. We're all financial and legal experts here, so please give me your expert analysis in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to FourFourTwo here on YouTube. We're going to have so much fun this year, but we can only do that if you come along for the ride. So I always ask, please do subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed this video, or even if you haven't and you just think, I don't know, maybe there's some potential there. It helps us out so much. Oh, and also, you can make it my birthday present. In the meantime, though, you can grab me on whatever social you'd like. That's none of my business. At Adam Clery, Clery, 442. Same deal. The stuff is in the corner of the video. The magazine, can I grab it without looking? Yes, I did. That's in shops now. You can go and buy that. But until next time, just give us a read, actually. I've been Adam Clery. That's the Nottingham Forest situation. I'll see you soon. Goodbye. It's very formal, wasn't it? Goodbye.